Hey, Audio Road listener, what is your profit per mile? How about your cost per mile? Or even your bottom line? Stop driving blind and know your numbers. Profit Gauges is absolutely simple bookkeeping specifically for owner-operators. Have instant access to business and tax reports that will help you increase your profits and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Sign up for Profit Gauges today and take advantage of our 30-day free trial. Know your numbers and master the journey. Visit our website at letstruck.com or call our Tribe Care Team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Your money, your taxes, your truck, and your road to success in the trucking industry. This is Trucking Business and Beyond, the show that puts the money where it belongs, back in your pocket.
Good morning, you beautiful bunch of Fockers, and welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It is Thursday, September 12th. We've got an hour today. Following that, I think Kevin Beckett will be here for Rolling Toe. I think Mike is out training today. I've got a special guest joining me this morning, a good friend of the show we haven't talked to in a while, and we are going to jump in and talk to him right now. Phone lines are open, so go ahead and start calling. We'll get to those calls here in just a little bit. I want to bring back Eric Miller from Garmin. Eric, welcome back. It's been a while.
Kevin, how you doing, man?
Doing
nice
good.
to talk to you. Sorry it's been so long.
Well, I can see why. You guys must be busy over there.
We have been very busy. Yeah, very busy. It's probably been 6 months since I've been on your show, and yeah, we've got all new everything pretty much for you guys to kind of talk about today, and just I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, all new everything is right. Holy cow. Well, let's just get started. Where do we want to start?
Yeah, so just kind of high level, what I got to talk about today, we've got all new diesel OTR navigators that we've launched just recently last month. Been really excited about those. We have also all new diesel headsets. So our second generation headset is now on sale as well. And then we just launched, last week, we launched a whole new lineup for our dash cam series as well. So dash cams have all been upgraded. So all those products all lined up. So I'd probably go in that order if that works for you. Just kind of talk about each one.
Yeah, let's
just kind of have some back and forth.
Yeah, let's start with that. We're starting with the navigators, right?
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
Yeah, so what's new?
So what's new with the navigator? So this is the diesel OTR, kind of what we're calling the X20 series. So it'll be depending on your screen size. We've got screen sizes for the 6-inch, 7-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch. We even have one with an integrated dash cam built into the device as well. But these are all great, awesome new navigators that are out there. And the big additions that we've done from the previous series, the big thing that I've been working on and been kind of really trying to build for drivers is more community-based features. And so basically what I'm trying to create is a way for all of our awesome truck drivers. I see our truck drivers as the best in the business. People who are driving with Garmin, I feel like really know what they're doing. They're experienced drivers. They are out there and they have a lot of experience on the road. And so what I'm trying to do is create a way for them to be able to share their knowledge with other Garmin drivers who are driving with Garmin navigators. And so we've got basically these great new diesel community features. We've had some community features in the past that have been things like being able to see on the map, like where basically know where the trucks go, because you can see we kind of put like a heat map on the device showing where the trucking routes are, and so you can kind of have that confidence when you're pulling off the road. Where is the place where the trucks go? But we're adding to that with new diesel community features, so that you can. The big two new features are diesel community parking, so that anytime you need to go find a parking location, whether it's an overnight truck stop or if it's just or if it's a parking location for any other type of truck parking, All those parking locations are saved in our device. We have a very comprehensive truck parking search right there on the very home screen of the device. And that just takes you through an awesome experience where you can find all the truck parking locations, and then truckers can then, when they arrive at those locations, they can go in and they can give us ratings. And so they can provide ratings and information on each of those different trucking park locations. And we can build this great community within the Garmin ecosystem, so that drivers can see when it's open, how full it is. You know, you get things like live status. You get things like you get to know what's great about it, whether it has food or whether it has good lighting or whether it's safe or all those different types of things. Truck drivers can provide all that feedback to us right from the device. Super simple. It takes 10 seconds to fill out our little questionnaire that we ask once you arrive at a parking location, and you're providing that feedback to the rest of the diesel community when you do that. So we're really excited about that feature. And I think that's really the big story we've got going on, is just diesel community.
Boy, I'll tell you, I'm so happy to hear this, and I've got a great story. So, and I love this use of technology, by the way. There's so many advantages to this. And my first thought is, you know, a lot of times with technology, software, we have to fight it. We're a software company. You can do a lot of things with technology. You can do a lot of things that seem really cool to do, and it's easy to get sucked into doing things because they're cool and you can do them. But we always have to remember that technology should be making our life easier, not harder. And I've experienced this just last week traveling, and I came to a decision about a couple of things. So let's think about this for a second. This may seem way off track, but it's relevant. Um, I've been traveling on airplanes for a long time. There was a couple years where I traveled every week, so I was traveling constantly. I like technology. I'm usually the first to, get new technology and try it out. And so I got into the whole electronic ticket thing. How cool. My ticket's right on my phone. What a stupid idea. It does not make your life easier when you're traveling. It makes it far more difficult. I'm back to just getting the paper ticket and sticking it in my pocket. Think about all the things with the phone. I'm going through the line. I've got all this stuff. Now I've got to hold my phone. I've got to get my phone open. I've got to get it unlocked. It doesn't usually scan as well on those machines as paper tickets do. You see people up there, they can't get their phone unlocked. The whatever app they had their ticket on disappeared. Now they can't get it open. What was wrong? How difficult was it just to walk up to the machine, get the ticket printed out, and keep it in your pocket? It's one of those pieces of technology that did not make anything easier. It made it far more complicated. Then, at this event that I'm at, this conference last week, we were going as a group to the Tucker Carlson Glenn Beck tour. So they give us this email the day before the event. They said the group we're with sends us all this email. Here's how you get your tickets. And it is all digital, only electronic, no paper tickets whatsoever. And you have to use their specific apps. Now, I've got to go to the App Store and download an app that I'll probably never use again because I don't go to a lot of events. And even if I do, what are the odds that the next event's going to use the same app? Probably not. So now I've got an app on my phone I don't need. And the process to get these tickets was so complicated, everybody was struggling with it. I'm pretty good with technology. I got through it, but it was way too long. 7, 8, 9 complicated steps. Fill out this code, then go check your email, then get that link in this email and go to this website and fill out this form. And everybody needed help. And at the last minute, as we're driving in a 9-passenger van, there are 3 or 4 people on the staff deleting emails, deleting apps, resending the invitation. And it was an hour of that in this van trying to get people their tickets. How hard is it to print a paper ticket and give it to me and let me in? This was a ridiculously complicated use of technology. And that kind of stuff makes me crazy now. And it seems to be getting worse because if you think about it, we have technology doing a lot of things. And if companies want more revenue coming in, they got to do something more or different or better or add things. I love the direction you guys have taken. This makes my life easier without me doing much of anything. The heat map. When I get off, into an unfamiliar area, this is where we have a lot of accidents happen. We've seen the trend in the last 10 years, trucks following the GPS blindly into places they should not be. And, yes, we could train or blame the driver, and the driver has some blame here. We should train them better, or I don't know what we should do. But this can help that a lot. Now, it's the technology that may have caused the problem in the first place. Well, here's a good solution that doesn't overcomplicate things. So I love the direction you guys are taking, and it's interesting. Last week, I was just frustrated with technology across the board over stupid stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're hitting it right on, and I think about those similar things all the time. Where it's like it's really hard to replace something as simple as pen and paper with technology, and there's no need to try to do that. But something as complex of figuring it out exactly where you need to go, and the complex navigation decisions that truck drivers are making every day, that kind of stuff we can try to smooth out by putting all the relevant information right at a kind of one touch away, or just right in front of their screen, right in front of their face automatically. To just kind of make their easy possible. And that's really what we're trying to do is like we sell these really nice, gorgeous big screens, and we're very much location aware, and we can provide them that navigation, as well as what I'm really working on now is creating a way to make it, when you buy a Garmin Diesel Navigator, you're not just buying our navigation, you're also buying the knowledge sharing and capability of a whole community of truck drivers who are the best of the best. And that's what I'm excited about that we're building on.
Yeah, the difference here is stark. They took a very simple process. Print a ticket, hand it to me, transactions over. I don't have to think about anything else. I just hand the ticket to somebody when I want to get in. They took a very simple process and complicated the hell out of it. You took a complicated process and simplified it. Two totally different approaches. That's why I applaud yours. We need more of that in technology. And then I have one other thing. I'm not sure if this would apply or not. You talked about parking locations. Are you familiar with Truck Parking Club?
A little bit, yeah.
Would there be any tie-in for you guys to be able to show their locations?
Not really.
Okay.
It's really, we'd have to probably pay them some sort of royalty or something like that. There's a business connection on the back end. All in all, I'm very confident that our truck parking database, is created based off of our kind of location understanding of where trucks go. We have a really good understanding of where all the trucks go. We have a lot of people driving with our devices, and we know where they stay for 10 hours, right? If they stop and they're staying there for 10 hours, then we have a pretty good idea that they're parked, right? And so that gives us a really good idea of where all the truck parking locations are. We even know the popular on-ramps that are understood of like where trucks park. We have all that in our truck parking database. And so I feel like ours is already very, very comprehensive. And so adding third parties, I don't think is honestly very necessary. It's already kind of got.
You know what? I wasn't completely understanding the truck parking part of this, and I should have. You gave me the heat map thing that it just uses real-time truck data. For some reason, when you went to parking, I'm thinking this is kind of more of a pre-programmed database. Here's a truck stop, here's a rest area, like we've had in the past, and it just dawned on me that's not what this is at all. You are using the real-time data of where where trucks are parking in real time. So you will pick up all those third parties anyway. That's
Yeah.
again a
So they
great,
get brought in
yeah,
on
yeah,
our
great use of the
those,
technology. That's very
yeah.
different from the pre-programmed kind of stuff we've had in the past for parking.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how we've been able to match
Yeah,
up our kind of user data that we have with the databases that we have from our map
right,
location providers.
right.
Compare all that and make a really great, smart,
Well,
built-in database of truck parking for our drivers, so that they can find that really easily. And then we provide the drivers a way of being able to provide feedback to each other of everything that they need to know about that location. And we have already, since the units have been on sale for a month now, we've already got thousands and thousands of reviews that our drivers are putting through that system. And so it's just going to get better and better over time as we kind of grassroots build this diesel community. But I'm excited about how we're going to be able to do that over time.
You know, you just said it, and that's what I see here. So let's look at the old system. You release, a database in the software, and it's got certain parking places listed. Sometimes within days, it's out of date, right? A new parking spot shows up. You guys can't possibly know about all these things. So there always felt like there was that lag with certain things, whether it's construction or new roads or new parking places. This just gets better and better over time. It's a very smart
Yeah.
system that will, if there's a new place of parking that a couple of trucks start going to, this starts recognizing that. That's incredible. That is a great use of technology.
Yep. And we really just, as we start getting more and more feedback from the drivers, of providing them providing us, ratings, whether it's a star rating or it's a live, how full is it, or is it empty? The data just gets better and better as we're able to kind of figure out trends and be able to tell them, hey, this truck stop usually gets full by 6 p.m. or this one usually fills up by 4 p.m. and those types of things. So the drivers can see that when they're searching for parking, they can kind of plan out their day and have that data that they can rely on, because it's being provided by other truck drivers who are obviously very committed to their jobs, because they're the ones who are purchasing these kind of premium devices to kind of help their day in and day out. So you can kind of, we have that nice built-in trust factor of like, hey, these are other Garmin diesel drivers that are providing this information, and it kind of creates a nice little community of the best of the best, and that's what I'm excited about.
So
another feature that we do beyond that, just on top of it, is we have added an ability for drivers to be able to share truck locations. And so if you're going to a delivery spot, a place where you're going to drop off your trailer or something like that, a lot of times you're being navigated to kind of the front door, the address.
Right.
And so what you're able to do, because we have satellite imagery as well. So, right, the satellite imagery will download around your destination automatically. And then when you go in to look at that satellite imagery, we allow our drivers now to not just click on where they can see where the loading docks are or where the security gate is or wherever that truck entrance is. They can click on that on the map. They can save that as the location where they want to go. We'll associate that saved location with the point of interest or the address that they typed in originally. And then that location can then be shared to all the other drivers. So the next person to come to that location will see, hey, here's a community saved location. This is where the other Garmin diesel truck drivers are going. And so they can see that location and they can navigate straight to it rather than going to that front door.
Very, very cool. It's funny. I was just getting ready to ask you about that feature. I was seeing a feature in here with the high resolution aerial views. Boy, I think back to the days when all we had were paper maps and you had to call ahead to get directions. And that was, this is such cool technology in so many ways for that. I do have a question. Sarah just sent me this on chat. Is the community aspect available on any of the current devices, or is that only available because of technology in the newer devices?
So the ability to actively participate in the community and actually leave ratings and those kinds of things is really only available to new product purchasers, so people who are jumping onto this platform. And so it's just something that we just couldn't really bring to the older devices. It was going to be too much effort.
Right.
And so, but some of the older devices will be able to benefit from the kind of shared locations and some of that information as well. They'll see those as that, because that'll mature our map data. And as that map data gets updated on those devices, then that information will be benefiting those drivers as well. Anybody who bought the 2022 version of the products, or even the previous version after that, the map data will continually get better as we get more parking locations and more community shared locations as well.
Okay, excellent. Boy, that's exciting.
Yeah, we're really pumped about that stuff. That's really been my big story. We added some other great features, like we've got wind speed weather overlays.
That's
that'll.
I want to let me stop you right there, because I think that's cool. So I'm just always thinking, and I'm just going to throw this out there and see what you think about this. So the wind speed overlay, that's pretty darn cool. I've been talking about this for a long time. My mind's kind of working now with how intelligent this technology is becoming, and now seeing some of these other ideas you've come up with. I'm really, really big on fuel economy in trucks. I've been studying it for 30 years. I've been developing techniques. My Friday show now, I've got like fuel mileage superstars. One of my co-hosts, Joel Morrow, Henry Albert. These are guys. Joel Morrow works directly with Volvo. Volvo Corporate goes over to Sweden and works with their engineers. And it's all about fuel economy and in real world stuff. So we're tracking fuel mileage. We're developing new ideas. We're testing theories. Henry Albert works the same way directly with Freightliner. So we've come up with a lot of, or proven or disproven a lot of things about fuel mileage over the years. We're always looking at, what's the next advantage. Just to give you an idea where we're at. The average fuel economy on a Class 8 truck in this country is still 6.6. That's the number. That's insane to me that it's still that low. Henry and Joel and several other people as well. Now we've got trucks on the road that are consistently breaking 10. We're past 11, and we're seeing some 30-day averages at 12 now. When you look at the fuel savings, the cost savings, the emission savings, it's absolutely huge. And I'm always looking for another tool. I think that the amount of data that your device is collecting and the way you're using it now, there has to be. So I have a computer. I worked with a company so it ties into the ECM. And we show fuel mileage data in real time, and we can even calculate profit while they're driving. And if the speed and fuel economy change against the rate, it will show the profit change. But I think you guys have the device that has huge potential for this kind of use.
That's really interesting. I actually find that very interesting, and being able to kind of in real time track how fuel efficiency is being affected by things like wind. Whether you have a tailwind or a crosswind. That being able to see that change and kind of aggregate that over time, and how that can kind of help the business aspect of things. So that's really interesting. I find we're not doing that today. Obviously, we're kind of spitballing kind of ideas of where we could get with having this data available now. But that's exciting. I think that's there's, like you said, I mean, if at Garmin, if we ever ran out of ideas, I think that would be a big problem. But we are never a shortage of ideas. We have very, very passionate customers who are always telling us what they would love to see more. And so that's where we try to really, with each of our different product lines, connect with our customers on a personal level and try to figure out what it is that we can do to kind of make their lives better on a day-to-day basis. And so, we'll never run out of ideas because of that, because the drivers are living it. And
Hey, Eric, my mind's spinning again. And like I said, on Fridays, we've got the fuel mileage dream team. Between the three of us, we're probably getting pretty close to 100 years of experience in really intensive fuel mileage testing and developing theories, improving, and we've got another guy that works with us, comes on the show, Alec. He's also a longtime owner operator, but he's a numbers geek. So he takes all our data and crunches the data and brings it back in. But my head's spinning over this. The driver himself, even with all the technology we have today, some of the autonomous features, smart cruise, the driver is still 30% of fuel economy. And one of the things I've tried to do over the years is teach drivers how to drive for better fuel economy. But it's hard because these things are dynamic, happening in real time. And I'm even thinking that your technology is smart enough, we could not only have the data, track the data, learn more things, we could coach the driver through it in real time.
Yeah, kind of provide a real-time efficiency coaching that the device could be provided off of kind of current conditions. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I like that.
Wow.
I really do. I think that could be really valuable. What's surprising to me is that that's honestly not that far off. That wouldn't be too far out of reach for us. We have other products today that we have, like some race car driving products that do real time on racetracks, right? And so we kind of coach drivers in real time on, hey, you need to carry a little more speed into this turn, or hey, you need to hit the brake a little bit earlier in this section. And so we have that kind of an aspect and algorithm built into race car type products, and that could be leveraged plus with some of you guys' knowledge on fuel efficiency. I think we could get some really interesting things together.
So just to give you how close we are to this on our end as well, and I would make this statement knowing your other products, like you talked about the race car stuff, your technology, everything is there to make what we just talked about happen. There aren't even any problems that would need to be solved. It's just a matter of taking, all the data and expertise we've collected over the years on fuel mileage. You already have all the technology. It's just a matter of building it. I mean, it's not like we even have any problems that have to be solved, or, none of those. Well, is this going to work? It's already all been done. It just hasn't been done like this for truck fuel mileage. Wow. Yeah, that's
really cool.
So
I like it, Kevin.
Here's the thing. There was a company we were involved with a couple of years ago called Pedal Coach, and they built a device specifically to do what we're talking about right now. And it was a pretty incredible device, and they were trying to grow, and it's just a tough market. They were a startup. It was kind of a one product. They had to make it or break it on that, and they didn't. Unfortunately, they went out of business. But that wouldn't be the case here. I mean, like I said, you guys already have everything all in place. It's just a matter of building it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that there's some interesting things there for sure. So it's always great to have ideation kind of conversations with you, Kevin. You have so much knowledge, and so I get a lot of benefit out of this. It gives me lots of job security of all the things you could do next, right? I'm always I'm talking to you about a product launch right now, how we're launching products, but at the same time writing product development plans for the next generation of navigators at the same time. We always are kind of trying to think 2 years ahead. So it's there's always some exciting things to be working on.
Absolutely. For sure. All right. Well, where are we going next? That was fun.
Let's talk headsets. Yeah,
let's
talk about the generation of Diesel headsets. So these are branded the same way. Diesel is our kind of trucking sub brand. DEZL is how we spell it. Put a little line over the E, kind of make it fun. There you go. But our Diesel headset, this is our second generation one. So we have two of them that we're selling today. That's the 110 and the 210. The only difference between the two models is that the 210 gives you the ability to add that second ear cup so that you can full stereo phones experience. Here, hold on, I'm getting a second call, so I'm just going to get rid of them.
All right.
Sorry about that. And then, so it's that the 210 gives you that dual stereo experience for when you're not driving. So you can put that second ear cup in, and then when you're not driving, you can have a full stereo headphones experience. But both of them you can wear as a headset just over one ear, and that's you can drive and be able to talk on the phone. You can listen to podcasts. You can listen to Kevin Rutherford.
That's right.
All kinds of while you're driving via the headset, and then at the same time you can be connected to your navigator and getting navigation prompts blended in to your audio kind of seamlessly. And then some of the cool new features. So that's all the same as what we did in the first generation, but the second generation, we worked really hard to make it really lightweight. We made it super premium still. We kind of are at the premium end of the market, and we are that's where we want to live, is this kind of aspirational, this is, if you get this headset, you kind of made it kind of idea. This is a really good truck driver tool. And so we added some great features to it to kind of build on top of that. The one feature that I really love as silly as it sounds, I absolutely love that we added a built-in flashlight.
Eric,
and
you stole my thunder again.
Yeah. Did I?
I was just waiting to mention the flashlight. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. The flashlight is so awesome. It's built into the boom mic on the headset. And you can get two different colors if you want red light, so that you don't mess up your night vision if you use red light at night. And so you'll still be able to have good night vision if you're just using red light to find something in the cab. But if you're just looking for things, you can use your bright white flashlight for anything else. If you're outside the truck and you're trying to just do something at night and it's a dark parking lot, having built-in hands-free light is just super cool. I think it creates a really nice story. When I see truck drivers walking around, they're always wearing their headsets. They never take them off. And so at truck stops or at even at mats and those kinds of things, truck drivers are walking around with their headsets on all the time. And, now you've just got light with you all the time, anywhere you could ever get it. And so it's really cool.
That was the first thing I looked at. And at first I had the goofy reaction, like, really? Do I need a light on my headset? Then it dawned on me, of course I need a light on my headset. It's a headset. I'm hands-free. I just hit the button and I have light everywhere I look. What a cool feature.
It really is. It's super cool. I absolutely love it. I don't drive a truck day in and day out, but having a headset with a built-in light I find really awesome in my car, and even just day to day in the garage and those kinds of things. Just being able to have that kind of headlamp-like experience while still be able to listen to music and whatever I'm doing. I think it's just a really cool product. It's a nice addition that I think is just a quality of life feature. We have way improved noise cancellation. We upped that quite a bit. We upped the battery life. Now you get 60 hours of continuous Bluetooth talk time on a single charge.
Nice.
Still super comfortable. We got memory foam ear cups, very plush, very premium experience. And the other awesome thing that we added is multi-point Bluetooth. I know there's a lot of folks who drive with multiple devices. So whether they're driving with two phones, a work phone and a personal phone, or they've got a phone and a tablet, or a phone and a laptop, or something like that, you can connect to both devices simultaneously, and the media just goes where it's very intuitive. So if you're listening into music on one device and you get a phone call on the other one, we'll prioritize the phone call, and you'll be able to switch over to it seamlessly without having to hit any buttons. It's just it's a really nice experience. So all those additions to our already great headset experience, I think, kind of helps put us over the top and helps kind of drive why there's a reason for this kind of the higher price point where we compared to the Blue Parrots and the others of the world.
Yeah, very cool stuff. I've got a question for you, because this is something I've been interested in.
Yep.
I always like to preface this, because I'm going to talk about AI, and I like to remind people, if I was the king of the world, I would make AI disappear and never come back. As much of a technology geek as I am, and as much as I love technology, AI just scares the hell out of me. There's a point where I think it becomes too far, and they talk about, well, we'll control it. Oh, no, you won't. No, you won't. Anybody believes AI won't be dangerous because we can control it is just delusional. But it's here. We use it every day. I talk about that. We use it as a company. It helps us write a lot of better copy and helps me clarify my ideas. And so I'd rather it didn't exist, but if it's going to exist, I'm going to try to at least take advantage of it and get some benefit from it. One of the very first things when you remember that week Chat GPT hit the market and everybody was talking about AI, and I had been
Mm.
studying it before that, but that week something dawned on me. I deal with a lot of audio equipment and I have no background in audio. I had to learn all this stuff. And you can spend a lot of money to make my voice sound good on this, professional headset I use on this show. And I got thinking,
Yeah.
I have a feeling AI is going to eliminate a lot of high end audio equipment, because if AI is smart enough to recreate somebody's voice in a way that we can't tell the difference, why can't AI just take my voice and make it sound perfect with no background noise? And
Yeah.
it's already
Absolutely.
happening.
Yeah.
I bought a
Mhm.
head or a speaker phone kind of thing for your desk off of Kickstarter, and it's the magnetic charging, so you just drop your phone right on it, but it's a speaker phone, and you train it to your voice, and then I don't care what the background noise is, and I don't care how close it is. It can be another person standing the same distance away from your mic, and AI just eliminates all sound except your voice.
Yep. I think you're absolutely right on a lot of that. There are certain areas where AI is going to be very disruptive, and I think you're kind of got your finger on the pulse there of like high end audio equipment. The amount of difference that you get from a kind of standard audio equipment versus the high end, you spend 5-6x the price,
Right.
and those very minute differences, but they're a big deal when you work in the area that you work. But yeah, that stuff can go away with this very foundational software change in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Great. Well, my head's already spinning. Do
Yeah.
we have anything left? I think we do, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. All
We
right.
do.
What's
We have
next?
one more lineup left. So super excited about the headset. You can pick it up anywhere, any truck stop, or Kevin, I think you're getting some too to be able to sell on Let's Truck, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. So a couple of great places to pick up the headset. Then the last lineup we have is a whole new lineup of dash cameras. And so we've refreshed our dash camera lineup. This is called the X10 series. So there's 4 different cameras. We've got the Mini 3, the 110, 210, and 310. I'll just talk about the Mini and the 310 just to keep things simple here. But in general, the Mini 3 is our brand new, super tiny. It is the smallest dash cam on the market. It can be mounted anywhere. It's completely out of your field of view. Nobody's even going to hardly notice it's there. It can be tucked away in your windshield, and you'll never see it again. But it's there as your kind of eyewitness on the road. Is kind of the way we talk about them. They are recording for you, not for anybody else. They're recording for the driver. So if there's ever an incident, that you can have that video footage of that incident, and you're kind of eyewitness, being able to provide those videos whenever you see fit. And then you can also save fun videos. I know truck drivers are on the road all the time. They may see some crazy things on the road. You can just say, "Hey, Garmin, save a clip," and it'll save a clip for you, and you can go back and review what thing you saw on the road. It's fun. So.
I'm looking forward to that because I love the idea of all this video we've been able to capture in the last couple of years. See some very cool stuff come out of these. But again, in the beginning, that technology was a little complicated. It's taking drivers' attention away from the road and the truck but now with the voice recognition and be able to just say, "Hey, save a clip," very cool. And I'm sure we're going to get even better videos on the internet now.
Yeah, and that's where the kind of 310 is our new flagship. It's our new 4K dash cam, and it's an incredible camera. So with 4K resolution built in, all of a sudden, all those little details that you might need in a kind of dash cam video become easy. So you can see things like license plates very clearly. You can see all that great detail with the 4K resolution. And then we even on top of that built in a polarizer into the lens stack up. And that polarizer, it's a game changer. This is radio, so it's hard to show pictures, but on Garmin.com, there's a great side-by-side picture showing kind of what that polarizer does. It essentially, since these are mounted behind the windshield, right? They're mounted inside your cab behind the windshield, so the camera is always looking through glass,
right, and
then giving you a recording. What that polarizer does is it just makes the windshield disappear, so you would never see any reflections off of that, and so it makes the video just super clean and super clear, so that you're really seeing exactly the information you want to record, and you don't just see these glares off of your dash or off of your windshield that can kind of make your video a little bit muddier. And so doing those things, I think, are really awesome quality of life improvements for our dash cam series, and I'm really pumped. We have the smallest, the easiest to use, and the best video quality on the market. Those are kind of our three kind of pillars of this product line. We want to make sure that we're always the most compact form factors, the best video quality, and the best ease of use on the market. We create this really nice ecosystem with the mobile app that makes it really easy to review your videos. And then we even have an online vault that you can buy a subscription to that lets you have those videos get automatically uploaded to the cloud, so that you can just have those videos anytime you want, and you can review them from anywhere. And so just some really cool features that we've got as part of the new lineup.
Well, I'll give you the short version of the story, because I could go on a couple hours on this. A couple of years ago, I got invited to speak at a conference, and I wasn't even sure why I was there. It was an insurance conference. They invited me in to be the keynote speaker, but we had two different locations. I think it was Memphis and Nashville. Yeah, we had Memphis early in the week, and then we had a couple days, and then we had Nashville. So I spent the whole week with these people, and we traveled together. Yeah, and the whole conference was about these staged accidents. That was the big issue there, and it was shocking to me how extensive that was. And it's actually it's the mob. For some reason, New Orleans is like ground central, and I spent a week with a fleet owner down there who has been heavily involved in this. There was a court case where they had absolute proof that this was staged and how many people were involved, including the attorneys. And this got so crazy that the star witness was executed mob style. That's how crazy this was. At the end of the week, I'm like, this should be a John Grisham novel. I mean, this needs to be a movie. It was so crazy. But the lesson was, and from this fleet owner, he said, if you own a commercial vehicle today and you don't have camera footage, you're making a big mistake. He said, you would not. He said, the only way we ever managed to bring this first case to court and prosecute somebody was because of the camera footage we had. And had the camera footage been better, like you just talked about, it would have been even more powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, it's such a no-brainer for a professional driver to have a dash cam. If you're driving 14 hours a day, it just makes so much sense to have a dash cam. It protects livelihood. It keeps you safe. It's a one-time purchase that you can have, and then you don't ever have to really think about it again. I think, maybe on a yearly or every other year kind of basis, you need to replace the SD card because it gets worn out from writing video over it a bajillion times. So you got to replace those every so. There's a little bit of a maintenance cost there, but other than that, it's just always there, and it's always recording, and hopefully you never really have to use it. But when in that moment where you do have to use it and it's useful to you, it's paid for itself 10 times over.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's an important thing. And I think, professional drivers, anytime I'm at like Matt's or something like that, and I'm talking to the drivers there, they are all super interested in our dash cams and what can they get to make sure that they're protected. Can they outfit their small fleet with them? Those kinds of things. And yeah, we've got those products, and they're just super easy. And now they're all refreshed. They're brand new as of a week ago. Everything's brand new out there. We've got every price point covered, and yeah, they're really, really great products. So just excited to kind of share that as well.
Eric, I am obviously really excited about this launch and some things we might be able to work on in the future. We've got 15 minutes left, and I just looked up. There's 3 calls for you. You want to take them? You're a popular guy this morning.
Hey, let's do it. That sounds fun.
All right, let's go to Minnesota. John, what's on your mind today?
Hey, Kevin. This might have been covered while I was in talking to Angie, but suggestion for you would be to put a button somewhere on the thing for review of the map, because I've been on several roads where you come up to it and it's 80,000 pounds, which you can go with the truck, but I enter 40 ton in the GPS, so it can't convert the two exact same weights. Or 9 ton per axle, which is legal for a truck to go down, but it's figuring, so just a button that we can get you guys to review it, or call the driver and ask them what's going on here. And a select group of drivers that you guys build a relationship with and trust to help update your maps.
Did you get
So
that?
yeah, maybe I can ask maybe a couple quick follow-up questions. So I just want to try to understand the problem a little bit. So in general, the thought is that maybe what you input into the device, you input your kind of vehicle specifications, whether it's height, weight, length, those kinds of things. But when you're specifically on weight, you feel like maybe you're getting maybe over restricted on certain rows. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking, because you put it in as a 40 ton for your truck, and where it gets confused is it's a 9 ton road or a 10 ton road, and you're running with spread axles, which is 10 ton weight limit on the axles, but yet you, let's see, how do I say this? It figures, it's a 9 ton road, but you have it in as a 10 ton for your trailer, and it's not comparing the two that you're legal. Or you come up to a sign that says 40,000 pound weight limit, which is your 80 ton, but you put in, 80 ton, and it doesn't convert the 40,000 pounds to the 80 ton, or 80,000 pounds to the 40 ton.
Yeah. So what you're really asking for is a button that allows you to provide feedback as a driver to say, "Hey, Garmin, your map data is a little bit off here. You guys are over restricting me. I can drive on these roads. Here's one." Here's
the location of where to look, and you can call the drivers that you trust to get the input for that road. Or that person hits that, then you can call them and say, "Okay, so what's the deal going on here?" And we can help you update your mapping system so another driver doesn't get into that situation. Or you guys say it's legal and it's not legal, and we can press that so you guys can contact us to update your system for the other drivers.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. I love the idea, and it's not one that I haven't. I've heard it before, and I've been really trying to figure out what's that right experience for drivers to be able to kind of clean that up and do what Kevin was talking about earlier, where it's like we want to make it easier and not add complexity to something. So it's a tough challenge. It's a tough challenge, and one that I've looked at pretty extensively. But I need to just sit down with our kind of UI designers and try to come up with a really solid solution for you guys so that you guys can have that ability to provide us feedback directly. And then that way we can just be taking that on the back end and trying to be as proactive with our map providers as possible, try to get things correct.
Right. Yeah. Right now you need to sit on hold and call in and finally get to somebody and then try to explain it to them, and they don't have a precise location of where you're talking about. So if we could give them the precise location and they could pull it up at that time, all together. And
we have a solution for this, but like you said, it's very cumbersome. It's either going to a website or it's calling in, and it's a cumbersome process where you don't get the data that you really need to be able to make it great. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a great feature, and don't be surprised if you see it in future products. So
excellent. All right. Hey, John, I had to cut you loose. I want to get to a couple more calls here. Jerry, go ahead.
Hi, Kevin and Eric. First for Kevin, I guess I never thought I'd live long enough to hear you say you hate technology, so welcome to my world.
Yes.
On to the questions for Eric, since we're short on time here. Eric, I have always had Garmin GPSs. I feel very inadequate with you describing the new products now because I'm still dealing with I think it's a 780. Still works fine, but all the time I've ever had Garmin, there's been one complaint I've ever had, and nobody ever seems to fix it, and that is, why does the Garmin map database always default to the lowest common denominator of a road description? For example, if you're going north out of a town and you want to turn left on Route 16, why does it tell you to turn left on a county road? I don't want to turn left on a county road. I want to turn left on 16. Even though 16 and the county road are the same road, it always defaults to the lowest common denominator. Even if you're coming into a town, if the route goes through the town, it will tell you to turn left on 2nd Avenue. It won't tell you to turn left on the route. It always defaults to the lowest descriptor for that route. And why has that always been that way, and why can't we fix that? That's one question. I got two others real quick.
That's a great thought, and it's one that honestly, we really should look at, because we have both names of the road, right? And so it's like truck drivers only.
No, not a lot of times it won't. A lot of times it'll just default to the lowest one, and it will not go ahead and describe it as a state route.
Yeah, I imagine in our map data we have both names. It's just we only show you, like what you're saying, the most specific name for it, rather than what a truck driver would really be looking at is the kind of more broad
route, right?
Broad name, what they're really interested in.
Yeah.
And even though it is the same, 2nd Avenue may be the route you want, but it ought to identify it so it doesn't get you so confused. It's always been that way, so you're not going to lose me as a customer if you don't fix it. But that was one suggestion I had.
Here's how it happened.
No, I think that's a great suggestion. I'm all these down just so you know, from the previous caller and this one. I love this time where I can just be hearing directly from the drivers, because solving y'all's problems is really what I want to do, and that's my job. So
somewhere 20 years ago they had this conversation and they argued it back and forth, and this is what they settled on 20 years ago, and then it just doesn't get changed until somebody brings it up, and now we can talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's just I'm not directionally challenged at all, so I always figure it out, and I kind of know where I'm going without the GPS. But still, it's just so aggravating if you're in a strange city and you want to be on that route. Well, what the hell's it take me off on 2nd Avenue for? It I want to take the route, and you figure it out eventually. But if it was descriptor was there better, it would suit me better anyway. So, all right, that's one point. I want to know about the headset. I am a creature habit and would never wear anything over my head like your headset. Have you ever thought about designing a small in-ear, like, for example, like the Plantronics, the little over-the-ear earpiece? Have you ever thought about designing a Garmin one-piece headset deal thing?
Yeah. So the other form factors for headsets, there's so many different form factors for headsets, and we are getting good at making the nice premium over-the-ear headsets. And I think in the future, I think there are ideas in several different areas and markets that Garmin serves where different form factors may be necessary to kind of go towards those much smaller kind of in-ear or earbud type of design, or kind of hang over the ear. We've even looked at things like what's it called? The I can't even think of the word, but the one where it leaves your ears open and it's just like a temporal.
Bone conducting?
Yeah,
Yes.
bone conducting. That's what I'm trying to come up with. Thank you, sir. But we've looked at a lot of those different technologies and tried to find where there's some kind of strong Garmin stories around some of that as well. So yeah, there's talks about it, but there's nothing in development today in that world.
Well, 100 years ago when I first got my Bluetooth headset, I started with a Garmin, and I'm just so used to it, I just won't have anything else. I started with a Plantronics. I started with a little Plantronics 5200 Voyager, and that's what I've stayed with ever since. I'm just so used to it, I'll never change unless you come up with something better that's styled like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. One headset style is definitely not going to be a fit for everybody. Different rigs have different situations, and some rigs may have really good kind of noise cancellation where you don't need to be wearing a noise cancellation headset. You're perfectly fine just listening to the stereo in the truck, right? You don't need a headset. So there's different situations for sure, but yeah, I think it's always good to hear feedback.
I just recently purchased, I think it was a 67 Garmin camera. How much better is the 310? Quite a bit better?
You recently purchased a camera. So the 310 is 4K. So if you really want that extra resolution bump, then it's worthwhile. That built-in polarizer is a big deal. Although I do believe you can buy an accessory polarizer on Garmin.com to add to your current camera. And so you could get that same experience by just going and buying that accessory. So just depends on if you're satisfied with the resolution, then you should be just fine. I'm sure it is a great product. So no need to upgrade if you bought it recently, unless you're really looking for 4K.
I don't know, not really. I just wondering.
All right, Jerry, was
Do
that
what
it?
now?
Or did you have something else?
Well, very, very quickly on a dash cam, I went to a military base once, and that was a secure location where you had to leave all your cell phones and everything at the locker at the guard shack. And then you went to another guard shack and you got checked. They take the mirrors under the truck and everything, and all kinds of signs and no pictures, no videos. And that guy looked at my truck, went all around my truck, and never once did he notice that dash cam sitting right there looking at him the whole time.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, that's just a funny story. Just a funny side note. So
got it.
Yeah.
All
that's
right.
it, bud.
Thanks. All right. We got a couple minutes, and we have one more call for you, Eric. Richard, it's your turn.
Hey guys, I used to own a Garmin. Real quick on the headsets, I own a Bluetooth Parrot Bluetooth B250. I think it was a XT. That was the best headset I've ever owned in my truck. People who make headsets need to drive a semi truck whenever they design their headsets, because not all semi trucks drive like a Mercedes car. A lot of semi trucks have a lot of background noise, and I cannot find a headset that does not that I can hear people talking on whenever I'm talking on the phone with them. Now to my main reason is dash cams. I mean, not dash cams, but GPSs. My first GPS was a T&D Rand McNally, and I loved that. I loved that GPS. It had a lot of good features on it for mileage. It had 3 separate mileage counters that I used, one for daily, one for weekly, the other one for monthly. And then it had my fuel. I could do my fuel. I only had to mash 2 buttons to get into my fuel to where I can add my fuel. And it made it a whole lot easy. 2 buttons to check my mileage for my quarterly fuel taxes, and then my fuel for my quarterly fuel taxes was just 2 buttons to click on those. I bought the diesel cam Garmin, and it was a little bit aggravating trying to get into those things. So I'm wondering if maybe I might have been doing it wrong or whatever. But one of the questions I've got, and this is for Kevin and you also, I don't know about fuel taxes. I hate to even try to deal with fuel taxes. I basically really don't even want to learn it because some people it's easy, some people it's complicated. But there's some people, some companies that you can go on their website, and I think you pay like $300 or $500 a year, and they can map out your route and tell you exactly where you need to buy the fuel to optimize your best fuel taxes and everything. And I'm wondering if there might be a possibility, since they're able to do that, and we can connect to our GPSs via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. Is there a way to be able to integrate that in with the GPSs so that whenever I plan my route, it will automatically understand what the fuel taxes is for each state and know what the fuel taxes is on my route, and be able to help me to be able to buy the best fuel where I need to get it at, instead of me having to figure it out. Not everybody's got NASTC, because NASTC charges like $300-something a year.
Richard,
But in order, yeah, go ahead.
Stop a second. I know where you're going. Let me cut to the chase because we only have a couple minutes. Eric, this is another potential great use of your technology, and I'll give you the quick overview. When you buy fuel in a car, the gas tax just doesn't matter. It's just something you pay in the background. It's no big deal. You don't even worry about it. In a truck, we have to reconcile with every state we drive in. So if we drive in 48 states, we have to reconcile our fuel purchases because every state has a different fuel tax rate, and every state wants to get paid for every mile you drove in their state. So if you don't buy enough fuel to cover your tax, at the end of each quarter, you have to reconcile all that. And we used to have to file 48 different reports. Now we have IFTA, you file one report and you just reconcile all the states on that one report. The filing of the tax is one issue that could become a feature, but the bigger one is if you understand the fuel tax system, and it's not complicated, but it's hard to explain it to people, so much so that I created an online course to explain to people there's an opportunity here for about $2,000 to $3,000 a year in savings by knowing where to buy your fuel. And the way we have to do it is we have to take the fuel tax out of the equation and then compare the base fuel price in the different states I'm going to drive through. So if I'm going to drive through 8 states today, I'm in New England, I can hit a bunch of them in one day. I want to know where the best fuel price is, but I can't look at the pump price. I have to take the pump price in all those different states and subtract out that state's fuel tax so I know what I'm paying for the fuel only. And there is a company out there, we have worked with them for over 2 decades, ProMiles. And ProMiles has the database that allows me to go in, and I have to have a subscription, and I plug in my destination and my route, and it does all that calculation for me and says, here is the cheapest place to buy your fuel on the route. And it's been around forever. They haven't upgraded their software in probably a decade or more. And we worked with them for a while to try to get them to build an app so you didn't have to drag out your laptop to do this. And they're pretty comfortable where they are as a company. Great company, love the people, but they didn't want to take on a big new project like an app. Your device, again, has so much information. It is the ideal device to build something like this on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And you guys are right in line with things that I'm thinking about. We have an IFTA app on our navigators today, right, where you can go in, and if you're kind of religious about it, you can go to the IFTA app every time you're at the pump, and you can type in information and we'll automatically save it by jurisdiction for you. So when you want to look at your quarterly reports for your IFTA reporting, the numbers are there on the device, but you still got to write them down and you got to fill out your IFTA forms yourself, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so, you mentioned that online course, Kevin, and that sounds like something I need to take.
Okay.
So
we'll
yeah,
get
you may
set
have
up for that.
you may have to send me an online course and take that course where I'm as knowledgeable as can possibly be on the subject, so that I can try to solve these problems for you guys.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Eric, I got to tell you, this has been my favorite show in a long time.
Well, good. I really have enjoyed it. I love getting on your show and talking about all the great things we've been doing. Obviously, been busy lately getting this stuff all done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy to come on whenever you want to talk about this kind of stuff. I find it very, very valuable. And I'm in a moment where I'm doing a lot of this kind of a lot of ideation, I guess is a word we use, where we're trying to come up with those right things to do to really make our truck drivers' lives better. And that's what we're trying to do. But it's like there's a million things we could do.
Right.
But we got to narrow that down. Ones that are going to be the most bang for our buck, that we're really, really benefiting drivers the most. And that's what we want to do. So yeah, helping me to hone that down will be really, really helpful over the next few months for sure.
Well, given where we are in the country, fuel prices, the EV push, all of those things, I think focusing on fuel economy and big trucks could be a really big one.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Well, fantastic, Eric. Thank you so much. We blew through that hour. That went fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry to eat into the next hour a little bit there. Hopefully the other host is accommodating.
I do it to them every week. They're used to it.
Perfect.
All right, Eric, we will be talking soon.
Great. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thanks for having me on. Thanks to all the callers, you guys, and all the listeners. You guys are all awesome. Always looking for feedback to make our products better. So get out there, go check out the new devices. Appreciate your time.
Excellent. Take care. Talk to you soon. All right, Richard, thanks for the call. Great idea, by the way. And I need to get to the other Kevin today, Kevin Beckett from MD Alignment and the Rolling Toe Show. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning.
We just had a really exciting hour with the product manager over at Garmin talking about some cool stuff we could be doing together with their devices.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, some fuel mileage stuff, some fuel purchasing stuff. Very exciting. You already have a call, by the way.
Huh. Yes, I noticed.
Yeah.
So I'm already in. This is a good time. I hope it's not somebody complaining.
Probably not. I don't think you guys get very many
Probably
complaints. How could you? How could anybody complain about what you guys do? Seriously.
People find ways.
So
it's okay. If we can just talk to them, we'll get anybody through anything.
That's right. That's right.
So
we don't run away from
it'll be
problems.
okay.
We meet them head on.
Right.
And then fix them.
Right. They're actually just opportunities waiting.
That's right. So earlier, I thought I saw Matt was on the line, and I think he dropped off because he knew we were running out of time, but he wanted to talk about nuclear verdicts in trucking. And it's interesting because I had that on my list this morning. I had a huge list of things I was going to talk about this morning. And I forgot, like I normally do. About 10 minutes before the show, they reminded me that I had Eric on today as a guest. So Eric and I took up the whole hour, so I didn't get to my list. Listen to this. This makes me crazy. So there's a story, and I don't have all the details on these stories, but you don't need all the details. It's bad enough with what I know. So we have a trailer parked, I believe, on the side of the road somewhere. And a drunk driver with no seatbelt on runs into the back of the trailer and kills himself. They sued the trailer manufacturer, Wabash, $462 million verdict. The jury wasn't allowed to hear that the driver was drunk and didn't have a seatbelt on. And The trailer meets all the federal requirements for safety, and there are specific requirements for that underride guard you see on the back of the trailer. That came about a couple decades ago. They designed it, said we need this because when cars run under the back of the trailer, people get decapitated. So we have a design, we have standards. These trailers meet those standards. So this idea, let's just take this concept one step further. We're not going to hold the driver responsible, who should be responsible. We just want to keep digging to, grab everybody with a bunch of money is all this is. But why don't we take that one step further? Who sets the standards for that underride guard that Wabash completely complied with? The government.
Yeah, actually, I don't think there's anything wrong with the guard in the first place.
Correct. That's what I mean. That is the standard. And if we're saying there's a problem with that standard, then that's not Wabash's fault. That's the DOT's fault. They set the standard. Wabash did what they were supposed to do. They met the standards set by the government agency. So if somebody is going to be sued, why wouldn't it be the government instead?
Yes. Okay. I would, if being me and thinking the way, hearing the things that I've heard and thinking the way I do, no, I don't blame the trailer manufacturer at all. That's just silly. That whole verdict idea is just, they should have taken it to the government and said, you've got a problem with your standard.
Right.
And if it were me, seeing the technology that has developed over time, I'm reminded of a conversation I had with the Colorado Emergency Vehicle Technicians Association there last month about, well, actually it was a year ago last month because it was last year's discussion, but they take these $1 million fire trucks, and if there is an issue on the highway, they park the fire truck in the lane so that people don't hit it because it's got all these lights and shit on it.
Right.
But people do hit the trucks, and if they hit it, it's costing, months to repair it.
I'll bet. And
many, many, many thousands of dollars to get the job done. So their feeling was that the DOT should have vehicles, just box vans or something with lights on them so that those can be parked in the way of traffic that is definitely going to end up hitting it, whether you're drunk or not.
And if you do that, you could also put like the crash mitigation technology on there, the kind of giant shock. If we're designing this vehicle to block a road, then build it the way they build some of the guardrails now with all that impact stuff that takes away all the G forces. That's a great idea.
Yeah, definitely. Well, but what I go back to here is the idea of having the fire truck there is that it's got all the lights.
Right.
I could see if you wanted to blame somebody for the fact that a drunk driver couldn't figure out not to hit a stationary vehicle.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be a requirement that, these commercial vehicles that are parked on the side of roads should have flashing lights, whether it's attached to a tractor or not. So because LEDs are so efficient now and batteries are so available, maybe that's a thing that they could go ahead and push for.
It's not that I would disagree with you, but I'll just take another approach to this. This may sound really cruel, but nature has a way of kind of taking care of its own problems sometimes. And maybe we should just get rid of all the warning labels and the safety devices and let nature sort things out.
Maybe. Well, we do admit that we have manipulated nature with the things that we do. So there's no evolution or instinct to defy it.
Right. I think nature's way was better, but we're stuck with man's. But here's another one now. So this is just this week, the trailer decision came out. So then I'm scrolling the news this morning and I see this headline. And the headline drives me crazy if you read the article. But this is clickbait stuff. And this is how they do journalism now. And so
they've become expert at that.
Yeah. So here's the headline. Daimler, who makes Freightliner trucks, Daimler ordered to pay $160 million after trucker injured in crash due to defective driver's seat. But when you read the story, there is nothing defective about the driver's seat. It meets all of the current DOT requirements. Do you know why they call it defective?
Why?
Because there is a technology available, and Freightliner offers the technology, but it's not standard equipment. It's an optional device. And what it does, here's what happened. So they're actually going after Daimler for two things. This truck's driving down the highway. A driver on the other side of the road crosses the median. The truck tries to avoid it, goes off the side of the road, rolls over, and the driver gets crushed in the cab in the rollover, and now he's a quadriplegic. So first off, they're saying the cab should have been stronger. But I'll go back to the same thing. It meets the DOT requirements. It's not like they're building a defective product. They are doing Daimler is doing exactly what it was supposed to do. But the other thing that happens in a rollover with an air seat, the roof is being collapsed, the air seat is going up. And between the two, the driver got crushed, he's a quadriplegic. There is technology, and Freightliner has it, that in a rollover, it would actually tighten the seat belt and pull the seat down to the floor. Well, I get it. Great technology, might save somebody's life. There's no requirement, though, that it has to be standard equipment. How can we sue Daimler for doing exactly what the government told them they needed to do?
Right. Why isn't it the fault of the person that bought it for not buying the upgraded safety equipment?
The problem we're going to face is we can build outrageously safe vehicles that would save lots of lives. But how many of us want to pay $500,000 for our truck?
Well, no, you're right. And if you weren't willing to pay the $500,000 for the truck, you can't say that it's the truck's fault for not having the safety equipment.
The logic of we're going to blame the manufacturer and make them pay. Oh, if you want to go down that road, I don't think you should, but if you want to go down that road, you stopped short of the real problem. It wasn't the manufacturer, it's the government regulation. If you believe we should have built safer vehicles, and we can, then that's the manufacturer, or I'm sorry, that's the government. They are the ones that set the standards. Freightliner, Daimler said, look, we have a better technology. Here it is. It's an option. It costs more. If you want it, you can pay for it. But if you don't pay
and by the way,
it
might fail also.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're not saying it. I'm sure they're not saying it's fail safe.
Of course not. Right. We know that. It's just,
So then you'd be sued for offering something that failed. And
yeah. So guess what's going to happen to our insurance rates? They're going up.
Yeah.
And then because we like to brag that if you've got it, a truck brought it, when our costs go up, everybody's cost goes up.
Well, I do have a feeling that the appeals courts and the Supreme Court in particular wouldn't have the same view as the jury or the judge in these cases.
I hope not. I hope that this does get beat on appeal, because this is just wrong. It's wrong in so many ways, and it's bad for our country. All right. That's my rant for today.
All right. Well,
you have
that's great, because I really wasn't sure, other than Eric, who I'm going to be talking to today. So thanks for having me and all that.
You're welcome. And I will get out of your way and let you do what you do so well. And thank you for that.
All right. No problem. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Talk to you soon. All right. Okay. I think this is the beginning of the Rolling Toe Show.